Thank you for joining us as we think through this most important week. It's now Thursday. Many events have unfolded. Jesus had been teaching his disciples over and over again that it was necessary that they understand God's working in the midst of all this. Jesus had told them over and over again, as found in Mark chapter 8, verse 31, and other places throughout the Gospel of Mark. It says that Jesus began to teach them that it was necessary for the Son of Man to suffer many things, to be rejected by the elders, the chief priests, and the scribes, to be killed, and then to rise after 3 days. He spoke openly about this, Mark said. And all these teachings were suddenly beginning to unfold right in their presence. On this Thursday, many events happened. Jesus celebrated the Last Supper. He did so to help them understand that as he was dying upon the cross, that he wouldn't be dying a death as a criminal, though he was convicted by some as being a criminal. We know he wasn't. But that he was dying for them. So he reminded that as he gave his body and as his blood was being spilled, that it was being done for them and for us. He was dying for a purpose. And so as he broke the bread and as he gave them the juice to drink, it was a vivid reminder so that as they walked through the days ahead, they could reflect upon what Jesus was doing. Obviously, they were still in the process very much of learning all that was taking place, because we see that in this same passage that they are actually arguing over who is the greatest. Here's Jesus who had washed their feet just a few hours perhaps before. Here's Jesus who had just told them, I'm getting ready to die for you. Jesus was the servant of all, and they're arguing over who's the greatest. We do that as well. Sometimes we're forgetful of what God has done for us, and when we stop and recognize his great love for us in sending Jesus to the cross, it should cause us to find ourselves in humility with a willingness to serve. Later that very night, Jesus heads to the garden and he prays. He prays that prayer of great agony, Father, not my will, but yours be done. Again, showing himself to be the servant, willing to do what is necessary for you and for me, but most of all, embracing God's will for his life. In a flurry of events, the betrayal occurs. Jesus is arrested. And the very things he had been telling them were going to take place suddenly begin to unfold in rapid pace. As you think about this Thursday, rejoice with me that Jesus is the servant, one who came, who loved, lived, and died in obedience to God for us. May we be found faithfully serving him. Think through this Thursday of the most important week.